The boxing world is buzzing with anticipation as Lamont Roach Jr. gears up for one of the most significant rematches of 2025 against Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a fighter widely regarded as one of the sport's biggest stars. This upcoming clash, tentatively slated for June 21st in Las Vegas, promises to be a defining moment for both fighters, with their rivalry already steeped in history, controversy, and mutual respect. The narrative surrounding this rematch is layered with intrigue, drawing parallels to iconic boxing showdowns like Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield, where an underdog's resilience and tactical brilliance upended expectations. Roach, a fighter who has earned widespread admiration for his toughness, skill, and determination, is returning to the ring with a chip on his shoulder, aiming to prove that his performance in their first encounter was no fluke. Meanwhile, Davis, a knockout artist with a fearsome reputation, faces the challenge of reasserting his dominance after a controversial draw that shook perceptions of his invincibility. This rematch is not just a fight, it's a battle of wills, legacies, and contrasting narratives about hunger, preparation, and heart. The first fight between Roach and Davis was a spectacle that defied expectations. Roach, a massive underdog with odds as high as 25-1, stepped up a weight class to face Davis, a fighter known for his devastating power and precision. Many predicted a quick knockout in Davis's favor, but Roach had other plans. He entered the ring with unshakable confidence, leveraging his technical prowess and relentless work rate to frustrate Davis. The fight, which ended in a draw, was marked by moments of high drama, including a controversial moment in the 9th round when Davis took a knee, which some argued should have been scored as a knockdown. Roach's ability to match Davis punch for punch, landing jabs, body shots, and combinations with greater volume, stunned fans and analysts alike. The CompuBox stats revealed a relatively low punch output from both fighters, suggesting a tactical chess match rather than an all-out brawl, but Roach's performance shifted the narrative. He proved he could hang with one of boxing's elite, forcing a re-evaluation of both his and Davis's capabilities. Roach's return to training camp has been nothing short of intense. Unlike many fighters who take extended breaks after high-stakes bouts, Roach was back in the gym almost immediately, signaling his intent to build on his performance and come back stronger. His preparation is driven by a hunger to cement his legacy, not just as a contender but as a potential all-time great. Videos circulating of Roach in training show him throwing punches with blistering speed, sharpening his already impressive skill set. His father and trainer, Lamont Roach Sr., has emphasized that the game plan remains largely the same but with added polish, what he calls putting the icing on the cake. This disciplined approach underscores Roach's mindset. He's not just fighting for a win but for a statement victory, possibly even a knockout, that would elevate him to the upper echelons of the sport. Davis, on the other hand, has faced scrutiny since the first fight. Observers, including fellow boxer Shakur Stevenson, have suggested that Davis may be losing his passion for boxing, a claim that adds a psychological dimension to the rematch. Stevenson, who has praised Roach as a hell of a fighter, points to Davis's apparent lack of hunger as a potential weakness. This narrative paints Roach as the hungrier fighter, a man who has spent much of his career under the radar and is now seizing the spotlight. The contrast between Roach's relentless drive and Davis's perceived waning enthusiasm sets the stage for a compelling showdown. Yet, Davis's camp remains confident, attributing the draw to execution errors rather than a lack of skill. They believe that with better preparation and focus, Davis can reclaim his dominance. Reports indicate that Davis has acknowledged the need to take this fight more seriously, particularly after showing moments of carelessness in the first bout. The history between Roach and Davis adds another layer of intrigue. The two have known each other since their amateur days, having faced off as kids. This familiarity breeds a unique dynamic, with Roach seemingly understanding how to frustrate Davis in ways that other opponents haven't. Roach's resilience, impeccable timing, and defensive skills allowed him to withstand Davis's vaunted knockout power, a feat few have accomplished. Commentators like Joe Rogan have described the upcoming rematch as a potential war, highlighting the personal stakes for both fighters. Rogan's analysis underscores Roach's durability and fighting spirit, noting that his ability to absorb Davis's punches and respond effectively was a game-changer. This rematch, Rogan predicts, will be far more explosive than the first, as both fighters bring refined strategies and heightened motivation. The boxing community is divided on the outcome, with some leaning toward Davis due to his track record and others backing Roach for his momentum and grit. Ryan Garcia, another prominent voice in the sport, has emphasized Roach's emergence as a serious contender, suggesting that Davis's legacy hinges on how he responds in this fight. Garcia's commentary frames the rematch as a test of character as much as skill, with Roach's proven mettle putting pressure on Davis to summon the same level of resolve. The psychological battle is a recurring theme, with Roach fueled by the desire to prove doubters wrong and Davis needing to silence questions about his commitment. From a tactical perspective, the rematch promises to be a fascinating chess match. In the first fight, Roach's high-volume and aggressive approach, landing jabs and body shots while staying on the front foot, allowed him to win rounds against a more reserved Davis. However, as the fight progressed, Davis found success when he became the aggressor, landing sharp left hands and body shots. Analysts suggest that Davis needs to adopt a more proactive approach from the opening bell, turning the fight into a dogfight where he can leverage his power in close-quarters exchanges. Fights against Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios, and Frank Martin, where Davis was the aggressor, offer a blueprint for success. If he can replicate that intensity, many believe he could stop Roach. Conversely, Roach thrives when opponents sit back and counter, allowing him to dictate the pace with his jab and combinations. His confidence, bolstered by the first fight, means he no longer has to wonder if he belongs at this level. He knows he does. The controversy surrounding the first fight's draw, particularly the uncounted knee in the 9th round, has fueled Roach's fire. He and his team believe he outboxed Davis and deserved the victory, a sentiment echoed by some fans and analysts who scored the fight 7-5 in Roach's favor. The no-knockdown call, attributed by Davis to a slippery canvas, remains a point of contention, with many arguing it cost Roach a career-defining win. This perceived injustice has only intensified Roach's preparation, as he aims not just to win but to leave no doubt with a decisive performance, potentially a knockout. Such an outcome would be monumental, not only securing a victory over one of boxing's biggest names but also cementing Roach's place in the sport's history. The parallels drawn to the Tyson-Holyfield rivalry add a historical dimension to this matchup. Like Holyfield, who was seen as too small and underestimated against the seemingly invincible Tyson, Roach entered the first fight as a massive underdog. Holyfield's tactical brilliance and resilience allowed him to weather Tyson's storm and ultimately triumph, altering the course of boxing history. Similarly, Roach's ability to frustrate Davis and hold him to a draw disrupted the narrative of Davis as an untouchable force. The sparring history between Tyson and Holyfield, where Holyfield reportedly got the better of Tyson, mirrors the amateur encounters between Roach and Davis, adding to the sense that Roach may have a unique edge in understanding his opponent. Roach's father and trainer have revealed that Davis's camp was cautious about facing Roach from the outset, recognizing his skill set as a legitimate threat. Despite this, the business side of boxing, promoters, managers, and stakeholders, pushed for the fight, confident in Davis's star power. This dynamic underscores the respect Roach commands behind the scenes, even if public perception initially underestimated him. His performance in the first fight silenced doubters, earning endorsements from figures like Stevenson and Garcia, who see him as a fighter capable of rumbling with the best. The rematch, set in a neutral venue like Las Vegas, levels the playing field compared to the first fight, which Roach's team felt was tilted against them due to location. For Roach, this fight is about more than a title or a paycheck, it's about legacy. A victory over Davis would silence critics and elevate him to the sports elite, much like Holyfield's win over Tyson did. His training reflects this ambition, with every session focused on refining his skills and preparing for a war. Davis, meanwhile, faces a pivotal moment in his career. A loss or another lackluster performance could tarnish his reputation, raising further questions about his passion and dedication. His team insists that minor adjustments will make the difference, but the pressure is on to deliver a performance that matches his reputation as a knockout artist. Fans and analysts alike are eagerly awaiting this rematch, expecting a more action-packed fight than the first. The initial bout, while tactically intriguing, was not a high-output affair, with both fighters showing restraint. This time, with both men aware of the stakes and armed with lessons from their first encounter, the stage is set for a more aggressive and dynamic clash. Roach's confidence, Davis's need to prove himself, and their shared history promise a fight that could redefine their careers and add a new chapter to boxing's storied history. Whether Roach can pull off the upset or Davis can reassert his dominance, one thing is certain: this rematch will be a battle for the ages.